A very good evening to each and every one of you and a warm welcome at ESCON 2024, the Enterprise Security Connect. Now, just before I start with my session, Enterprise Security Connect is just not a conference, it's a connected campaign where we have been engaging with you, the cybersecurity leaders across South Asia region for various aspects, starting with the very first one, the CISO handbook, where you are sharing your perspectives, your ideology towards the evolving landscape of cybersecurity, and we'll be soon seeing the unveiling of CISO handbook tomorrow, so do wait for that surprise. Apart from that, the very second thing is the survey. So we conducted a survey 3 months ago with the cybersecurity leaders and the CISOs across South Asia region, and it is amazing to see that 653 cybersecurity leaders participated in this survey, where they shared their perspectives. We captured their sentiments, thought process, concerns, challenges, and the evolving strategies around cybersecurity. And the responses have been overwhelming, and the guidance that has come out from this survey has been amazing, which I will be sharing with you in my session. And apart from these two is the final point where we connect, we confer with each other at this conference at ESCON at the beautiful Aravali Labs. So thank you for being there with us. So starting with the survey findings. So as I mentioned, this is basically your voice that I'm collating everything together and sharing back to you. So thanks a lot for participating in this survey and giving us that opportunity to understand your perspective, bringing a very collated insights with you. Now, if I talk about South Asia as a region, its economic and geopolitical ascent is commendable. It's been underpinned by some really fantastic statistics, starting with the GDP. If we look at the GDP of this entire region, it is estimated to cross 4 trillion USD by the end of 2025. And it's just not about the GDP, it's also about the FDI. The FDI that this region has received last year was around $35 billion. So it's amazing to see that how South Asia as a region is being looked upon globally, the kind of confidence that has been put into this region. And all this is something which is further accentuated by the digital boom that is happening in this region, which is helped by the internet penetration. Now, if I talk about internet penetration, South Asia region has been one region where has been a mixed set of consumers, be it the urban, the rural, that we have even seen in India as a country. The penetration is expected to increase or say be achieved by more than 65% by 2025. So all these things coming together really gives us a very robust breeding ground for investments as a region. However, with all these economic and digital economy, it also becomes a breeding ground for cyber activities as well. And we have seen that over the past couple of years, it has exponentially increased, the kind of cyber attacks that has happened in this region. And if I look at the slide right now in front of you, I've just mentioned a couple of incidents that have happened in India as a country over the past 6 months. I've just highlighted a couple of them, giving the kind of essence and the impact that is making on cybersecurity as a market. And apart from the attacks that happens on the enterprises, it is also to be noticed that election has suddenly become a very key thing for the cyber criminals. Now, India witnessed general elections between the month of April and June. We saw that the overall cyber incidents, the misinformation campaign, and the attacks grew by 300% in India. Now, with all these aspects which are happening, and be it in terms of economy, the digital, BFSI your critical infrastructure and government have been the prime targets across all the countries in South Asia as a region. And while the cyber criminals are gaining all that kind of foothold, it's really impressive to see that how enterprises, how cyber security leaders are also increasing their confidence to take care of such kind of cyber activities. The overall cyber security posture is also increasing. And with that posture increase and the incidents, I'll in fact go a step back to the incidents. That so these are some stats that I would like to bring into your notice. And if we look at South Asia as a region, the overall ransomware attack, South Asia contributes to 15% of the global ransomware attacks across the globe. Now, that's a huge number. And if we look at the kind of business incidents, so the business cost that these data breach incidents bring on, the cost is as staggering as 3.5 million US dollar per incident. Now, there has also been a study to calculate that overall cyber crimes that are to be estimated in the year 2024, how much would that value add up to? So that value adds up to 4.5 trillion USD dollars. So in fact, 9.5 trillion USD dollars. Now, if you look at this figure, 9.5 trillion USD, and if let's say suppose cybercrime is a country, then this country would definitely be the third largest economy in the globe after US and China. So with all these things happening and enterprise, the cybersecurity leaders increasing their overall cybersecurity posture, improving it, enhancing it through various solutions, their confidence has also increased year on year. If you'll see right now, 81% of the enterprises or the cybersecurity leaders are confident to take care of such incidents, which has increased by 13% over the last year. The kind of frameworks that they are implementing within their enterprises, the kind of evolving solutions that they are putting in place to ensure the cyber security posture is amazing with the emerging technologies. And here I'll also cite one of the examples, as I mentioned, that India observed such exponential increase of cyber incidents during the month of April to June. Government of India has been pretty much proactive and they anticipated such kind of threats, similar to what we are right now seeing in the US with their elections. They had the structures, the strategies in place. They had their incident response systems in place, that whenever a breach was being identified, the kind of response they had, that was amazing. So we couldn't see that kind of impact coming on the elections, being the results or the misinformation. So here the key thing which we observed and the takeaway is that it is all about identifying the right signals correctly and early. This really helps to build that kind of strategy or periphery around your own enterprises to take care of these cybersecurity incidents. And after we observe this, I would say that when it comes to building a strategy, it's a cyber triage that needs to be in place for enterprises, where you assess your risks correctly, aptly, timely. You have solutions being there preemptively with you, and all these things should very well integrate with your overall business strategy also, because that is the key right now. And if I start with the risks, we ask all the cybersecurity leaders right here in this room that, which are the most concerning cyber threats for you? And the numbers clearly depict that the kind of threats or incidents is keeping you awake all the night. Data breach is one of them, ransomware attack. So it's all across your external, internal, human-related, device-related. But it's a key thing that these threats or these concerns do not work individually. They work in tandem with each other. And that's what I'm trying to highlight, that rather than focusing on each, it's the holistic strategy that needs to be there in place. A small example, like a phishing attack which happens in your enterprises could be a ransom attack, which could be triggered from your business email compromise, which further, I would say, expose your cloud security aspects. So this is not something which happens one at a time. It can be in collaboration with each other, how one triggers, infuse and amplify the other aspects of incidents is something which is to be noted. Now, Now, if we see the last segment, which is the cloud. Now, cloud has been a buzzword since long now, but cloud vulnerability, exploitation of cloud components is something which still bothers enterprises. While we see that majority of the enterprises have proper cloud security solutions in place, but still 28% of the enterprises are still bothered with these vulnerabilities, and they consider these as the top 5 concerns within their organizations. So I would say even to the vendors which are here present in this room along with us, that this is one space where for sure the opportunity will continue, because this is one space which definitely gets hampered with any incidents that happens within your organization. Now, after the risks, the solutions. Now, as I mentioned, it's a holistic approach that has been required, and cyber leaders are definitely assessing everything. They are prioritizing at their end that what solutions need to be prioritized, where the investment to be made. And we ask this question that right now, which solutions are the ones where you're investing more as of right now for this year, and which solutions they foresee the investment to increase in the coming couple of years. And along with that, we ask them to prioritize also. The sizes are something which helps you understand that which solutions are getting prioritized over the others. And in this graph, I would like to highlight 5 key solutions and how they have moved this year with respect to last year, because this we had asked them last year also. Last year, when I was presenting the slide, we mentioned that data security and cyber resilience services were in the first quadrant where they were currently investing a lot, and the future anticipation of investment was also high. But as we see that over the year, that kind of stability is being gained at both the aspects, be it data security or cyber resilience services. And the most interesting of all is to see is the network security management. Now, this was one solution which was underestimated by enterprises, but eventually gathered a lot of investment and attention from the cybersecurity leaders. So this is how things moved. And if you'll see, cloud security is still on the same tandem, where still the investment expected to go in that section is high. Now, there's one new entrant or say member in the family for cybersecurity solutions, that is artificial intelligence. This has been something last year when even the early adopters were having some use cases at their end. They were trying to assess that how things are happening. But this year, it's definitely entered. While the investments are low, but definitely we're going to see a good movement maybe by end of the next year. And if we deep dive more into how artificial intelligence is getting integrated in cybersecurity, it is using various aspects, be it your generative AI, your predictive analytics, NLP, automated reasoning, deep learning. And they are being used in various ways in cybersecurity. The primarily one I would say is the detection, be it fraud detection, threat detection, phishing detection. So detection is something which is the key aspect where AI gets integrated in cybersecurity, followed by the behavioral analytics. And we also ask these enterprises that in terms of effectiveness, how effective is this? And I would say AI is definitely deemed for success, because 81% of these enterprises who have already implemented AI within their enterprises claim it to be effective. Effective in terms of faster threat detection, increased operational efficiency, your improved incident response system, and even reduced false positive. So these are the areas where AI is definitely proving itself to be viable, to be efficient. where we'll definitely see a lot of needle movement. While all these needle movements are there, definitely it has its own concern and challenges when you're implementing AI. The very first one being lack of resources. Now, this is one space which I would say overall cybersecurity may all the leaders would be facing this, but AI is definitely, sorry, AI is definitely an added feature when it comes to having lack of skilled resources. Apart from that, other concerns that are got highlighted by the cybersecurity leaders were the integration issues with the existing infrastructure and setup, and along with that, high cost of implementation. These are certain botherations which are there when it comes to AI implementation. Now, while we are thinking of solution, I would say it won't be complete until unless you have a cyber security insurance at place, because that is the last, but I would say definitely one of the key critical aspect when you are ensuring a robust cyber security posture for your organization. Last year, we have seen that almost 60% of the enterprises had these insurance in place. That percentage is definitely increasing, but the key aspect lies that how adequately insured is your organization? Are you actually assessing the correct value when you're going for such insurance? Because this happens with us even when we are going for life insurance. So imagine the kind of insurance that we would require for enterprises in case of such incidents happen. It's definitely not giving you full proof kind of a strategy, but definitely this added advantage would really help the enterprises sail through. Now, with all these solutions and risk in place, cybersecurity has definitely become a critical point of discussion within the boardrooms. And the kind of prominence it's gaining, the numbers definitely speak louder. 83% of the enterprises say that they are definitely consulted when it comes to strategic business consultation, when it comes to timely consultation for their security assessments. And these numbers have increased drastically. If I talk about the consultation for strategic business decision, the overall 83 number improved by 20% over the last year when we were presenting this number. So you can clearly see that how seriously the boardrooms are taking cybersecurity. They are continuously reviewing the strategy, the initiatives, and all those initiatives and review are definitely getting visible when it comes to budget allocation. The budgets have increased. Last year, we asked the cybersecurity leaders what kind of increase you are expecting next year in your cybersecurity investment. And they mentioned that around 80% expect an increase, of which 77 have definitely achieved that kind of increased budget. And another interesting aspect that now cybersecurity, at least for half of the enterprises across South Asia region, they are not dependent to have a share from the IT budget. They have their own separate allocated cybersecurity budget, which is independent of your IT budgets. And the kind of increase we are definitely, CISOs are anticipating for next year is also very promising, as 87% expect an increase. Now, while I'm here on my last slide concluding, I would say cybersecurity will definitely continue to remain the main talking point in the boardroom, where the kind of prominence it's getting. The budgets are meant to increase because so are the attacks, so are the surface areas, the vectors are increasing. So the investments is there. Cloud security is another aspect which will continue to bother cybersecurity leaders year after year, because the kind of hybrid workspace we are in it, these are one of the key drivers that are increasing the concerns around cloud security. Dual perspective of AI. Now, AI is being used by cyber criminals, but so are being used by the cyber leaders. So it's just about how well you are integrating artificial intelligence in your cybersecurity strategy is something which will really help you sail through the cyber attacks. Last but not the least, ensuring that your cybersecurity strategies are well integrated with the overall strategies of your organization. Because if that is there, the boardroom is there to help you and it will sail you. And in fact, I would say we have a follow-up panel which is discussing the key aspects of cybersecurity within the boardroom, what CISOs experience, what they feel, what can be further improved, how these discussions have improved over the past couple of years when they are getting that seat in the boardroom. So I would say this is how I would like to encapsulate the overall insights that we have gathered from the survey, all basis the feedback that we have received from all of you. Thank you so much.